I see the castle.
Okay. And are the two guards out front?
No, I'm a little far away.
Let's go closer to the castle. As you get closer, you get more and more relaxed, more and more at
Wow.
peace.
This
What?
this planet is beautiful.
You
This
can see the whole planet?
is purple.
Oh,
The colors are not the sun, but the stars around. One of them is purple. So the atmosphere is it's beautiful.
oh, it's very
Wow.
nice. You know, purple represents one of the chakras. It's one of the highest vibration chakras, I believe. Isn't that the,
Yeah, there's a lot of shades of blues and purple around here.
mhm.
It feels almost like it's night, but I'm not sure if there's night or day, but it feels like it's at night, but there's a lot of light, of different lights.
Mhm.
It's a different color, lots of different shades of clear blue, silver,
Mhm.
and a lot of purple, also pinks.
Okay.
It's
So it's
beautiful.
like the blue and the silver are kind of combined as one color.
Well, no, there are reflections of like kind of silver, shiny,
Mhm.
bright white light, almost like silver.
Mhm.
And there's lots of different shades of blue. White
Mhm.
is nothing like we see here on Earth.
Mhm.
It's hard to explain. It's so beautiful, and it feels um, although it feels normal, but you feel much lighter. It's uh,
Mm. Like
it's
less dense.
it's wow. Yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Mhm. Like maybe a different dimension than what you're used to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It, I feel mm, it's hard to express the emotions.
Because the
It feels
purple
like
and the
the light
blue.
is so powerful that
Mhm.
uh, but it feels like the light is so excited, like
Mhm.
so strong that across my body. It takes over my whole. It become it and like perfect feeling.
Like
You're
peace.
not warm. Yeah, you're perfect. It's hell. It's so beautiful.
Mhm. So it's not just the way it looks; it's the way it feels too. All of it's beautiful.
Castle is oh yeah. Castle is it's more like a city. There's so many I can't even count them. They're all well, most of them are crystal, and because of the light, it's clear crystal, but you can't through the walls or anything.
Mhm.
But because of the light, the different shades of the stars around,
Mhm.
the shades of reflectivity, like it's multicolored,
Mhm.
but it's just the light reflection.
Mhm.
It
Right, like
makes
it refracts or bounces off the crystals, and it really kind of like pops because of that.
yeah, it feels like the city as it feels like it's alive.
Hmm.
It's incredible.
Almost like
I'll
instead of
try.
carving the crystal, somebody just asked the living crystal to make the shape of a city, and it just
Yeah,
decided to do it.
I think the energies here work with with the beings that demand or that request the help from those crystals.
Hmm.
I don't think that that's been built by construction or anything.
Hmm.
I think it's been built by the mind.
It was like manifested, basically, instead of built. They didn't need tools.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Wow, that's brilliant. Okay. Okay. And let's go find your vehicle so we can go on a little bit of a trip today. Tell me about the process of finding it.
At the gate. I'm at the gates.
Okay.
Mm. Oh, okay. There they are.
Okay. The same two
Give
guards
them
you've
a
seen before?
No, they're different ones.
Okay. And I guess maybe gatekeeper is probably a better word, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, we want to greet them and thank them for having the vehicle here and keeping an eye on it.
they're doing sign gestures.
Hmm. Is there anything they would like to say to us today?
They're just welcoming me.
Okay. Okay. And do you need to go inside to get the vehicle, or is it just kind of waiting for you already?
We're walking.
Perfect.
We're inside the castle. We're walking towards a. Oh boy, it's different.
Tell me.
There's Oh wow, the conference. I can see many different races of beings working here.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's so cool. Wow. There's a lot of those. Mm, I don't like the words, but grays, or they
Mm-hmm.
look like
Mm-hmm.
grays. Some are tall and delicate figures,
Mm-hmm.
really delicate, and
Mm-hmm.
some are some are much shorter, like
Mm-hmm.
really short, a
Mm-hmm.
little roundish look. I don't want to say fatty look,
Right, right.
but they're funny looking. They look
What are their
very
eyes
nice.
like?
Mm.
What are their eyes
The
like?
short the short ones, they got eyes. Well, they're semi-transparent beings, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them. The shorter ones look more like we are, more
Mm-hmm.
materialized, more
Mm-hmm.
physical.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're more like a working class or something.
Okay.
But they're the funny ones. They look very cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The tall ones are more like, well, not science type or evolutionary, with high wisdom beings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there are others that look like humans, but much taller, and they're
Mm-hmm.
semi-transparent also. They have long pointy ears.
Mm-hmm.
They all have white hair.
Mm-hmm.
Even the younger ones have completely white hair, white skin,
Mm-hmm.
like almost like there's the skin is sparkling, but it's light
Are
coming out
those the
of
tall
the.
whites? Is that what they call those? Tall white?
I don't know.
Okay.
They're not tall whites.
Okay.
Do you mean that?
Sorry.
Do you mean the tall whites from Earth?
Yeah, I
It's
was just
not.
wondering if they were if you're describing the same thing or if it's something different.
No, it's something different.
Okay. And how about yourself? What do you look like? Are you translucent? Do you look like Patrick or do you look like something else?
Mm. My hands look. My hands look like my hands. I am Patrick. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm semi-translucent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like some of the beings here, but
Mm-hmm.
my light is blue. It's dark blue. It's
Mm-hmm.
some other beings that are blue also, but they're lighter blue.
Mm-hmm.
But my light is yeah, my feet are
Really?
this are my it's just a darker blue.
Mm-hmm.
I look a little more physical than they do,
Mm-hmm.
but I am like a bit translucent also.
Okay. I have a revelation here that something is dawning on me is that as you go darker and darker blue, then the next step for you, if you were going to make a transition from there, would be to purple, right? How do you feel about that? Does that resonate with you? That maybe someday you'll be a purple being?
Yes, I feel that's a possibility,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel also that this has to be like a choice.
Okay.
You have
Like maybe some
at
of the
this
work that you're going to be doing is to turn you purple. Some of the
no,
exercises you might be doing.
no. It's I'm
Okay.
gonna stay in that same field of consciousness. That's the color that my soul is
Mm-hmm.
associated with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, unless I choose otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I could. Although you can work in relations with those other frequencies,
Mm-hmm.
those other dimensional densities
Mm-hmm.
that are represented by these
Mm-hmm.
fields of color.
Mm-hmm.
But my work, my mission is in the field of indigo,
Okay.
and it is planned for me to stay
Okay.
uh, within these higher frequencies
Mm-hmm.
for many more missions after also.
Okay. Excellent. That's very interesting. So the dark blue and specifically indigo is going to be the
Yeah,
best place for you. Okay. Very
yeah,
interesting. Okay.
that's the field that my soul originates with. The star from the world. We could say the sun from my world, my original world, my
Mm-hmm.
home place, my home star
Mm-hmm.
is from that frequency, that field of color. It doesn't mean that the star is a dark blue. It means that it creates a light associated to the dark blue.
Right. Just like the light from our sun comes and it could be like yellow or white, but when it hits the atmosphere, it makes a blue sky or it appears
The
blue.
sun, the sun from the dimensional frequency Patrick operates
Mm-hmm.
on Earth is considered gold. It's
Mm-hmm.
the golden frequency.
Beautiful.
You may see as yellow, orange, sometimes purple, red,
Mm-hmm.
pink, but in the higher, let's say in the world of spiritual guides, the
Mm-hmm.
light of your sun is seen as the golden sun.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's wonderful. That's really nice. So, even though it's a golden sun, when it reacts with that planet, it imparts a indigo energy. Am I understanding that right?
Oh yes, there is much indigo energy on the planet at this time.
Okay,
It
very interesting.
reflects those those waves of star seeds that have been involved. Many stars reflect on your planet. You may not see it that way, but your planet is a connection to all of these stars. Many
Mm-hmm.
of them are of the those frequencies. You got
Mm-hmm.
purple, you got green, you got yellow,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
also got red and brown, those lower frequencies
Mm-hmm.
also.
Right.
Um, this is what radiates on planet Earth, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
it is seen as the jewel of the universe because it reflects almost
Oh,
every
wow.
star of the galaxy.
Hmm. That makes a total sense. So, one galaxy or star cluster might just resonate to one of those colors primarily, whereas ours is able to resonate to any and all of them at the same time. Is that right?
Yes, you're
Wow, that's really
completely
cool.
right.
Who am I talking to
There,
right now?
you may consider as a higher self,
Okay, okay.
a connection to Patrick's higher dimensional knowledge.
Hello. Well, hi there, Patrick's higher self. Nice to talk to you again. Always a pleasure. Okay. Now, we were going to ask some questions today, keep the session fairly short, but before we do that, is there anything anywhere that you would like to take Patrick or anything you'd like to show him since we have this time?
Mm, I think Patrick's body's a little tired today.
Okay. So we'll try to keep
make
it short.
questions coming brief, and have
Okay.
him talk have him talk as much as you can so
Okay.
that he stays active and we can keep the connection
Mm.
going in a good flow.
Okay. That's wonderful. I appreciate that. It's great, great advice. Okay, so we're going to ask a few questions here.
We're gonna run a light scan on Patrick.
Oh, thank you. That'll be great.
There's not much to do, but we're gonna try to work on his
Hmm.
connections
Hmm.
to facilitate. We know, he's been trying hard.
Yeah. One of his main questions is what can he do to be able to connect to the higher energies in the easiest, most efficient way? Is there any extra guidance we can give at this time on that topic?
What he's been doing is excellent. He's
Hmm.
been doing more than what we've been given as advice.
Yeah.
So it's not good to overdo it. He's
Hmm.
got to let time do the work also,
Hmm.
because he could stress his body, he could also stress his mind in the same process, and
Okay.
will just go up to what he's trying to do.
Right.
So it is perfectly fine, but he's got to give time to adjust. The physical body needs time to adjust. It is
Hmm.
a morpho. It does. It can morphosize into almost almost anything. The human
Hmm.
body with the
Hmm.
proper knowledge, the proper
Hmm.
belief,
Hmm.
emotional belief,
Hmm.
you can heal and almost do incredible things.
Hmm.
But he is doing at the moment is perfect. He should
Hmm.
just exercise a little more
Hmm.
and do different types of meditations. The one he's
Hmm.
been doing is really good, but
Hmm.
he should also do some to relax his mind, not
Hmm.
connect all the time, just keep
Right.
within himself.
Hmm. So if he's going to connect, maybe we would say every other day would be better, or only once a day. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
No, it does not matter how many times he
Hmm.
wants to connect, because the more he does, the easier it's gonna get. He's
Okay.
now at a point where he can create connections with some, or what you could see or call, ghosts.
Hmm.
He's been wondering what was happening lately, but those
Hmm.
are what you call ghosts,
Hmm.
trying to tap, like almost tapping on his shoulder, demanding
Hmm.
help and trying to trick or play with him.
Hmm. Because
He's
they're
he's
starting to notice him, and so they just kind of want to experiment and play around with what they're seeing because they don't normally see something like that, right?
You're right.
Okay, and so they aren't necessarily good or bad. They're just curious in their own, just like he is.
Yes, it's just experience.
Right,
He's
right.
he's from a high field connection. For those beings to be able to create energy connection, they
Mm-hmm.
have to be of high frequency. It's just that they're not ready to leave yet. They're not ready to reincarnate.
Hmm.
They're not the kind of beings that would create attachments or
Okay.
negative or evil or
Hmm. Hmm.
fear.
Hmm.
No, not at all. They're trying to connect for fun or messages. Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes they want to give messages to their loved ones, and they
Oh.
search for people like Patrick to
Hmm.
connect and pass on messages,
Hmm.
or sometimes even funny secrets.
So if Patrick were to encounter beings like this, instead of having to be worried or confused or anything like that, what you can maybe do is ask if there's anything I can do for you. Is there any message I can pass along?
Yeah, he's got to open up.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to invite them in. He's just got to open up to a
Mm-hmm.
connection so he
Mm-hmm.
can get the messages. The more he emotionally
Mm-hmm.
believe in what is in front of him, the
Mm-hmm.
easier it will get for him to see it and to understand, to hear it, to connect.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like meditation, and it's just like the hypnosis he's
Mm-hmm.
doing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
The more you practice, the
Mm-hmm.
easier it gets.
Yes.
And it can get to a point where you can help a lot of people if you are able to connect with these kinds of beings. They're good beings also. They deserve help also.
Yes, we love everybody and everything. The thing is coming to my mind that might be tricky is if we'll say we'll call it a ghost for now, were to want to get a message to a relative, it might be hard to know who that relative is or how to reach them for somebody like Patrick. Can you give any advice or guidance on that topic?
You will have to see
Okay. Just
to
continue
how
practice.
you will have to see to how the connection goes,
Mm-hmm.
because right now those are not specific cases,
Mm-hmm.
so it's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's something new for Patrick. If he
Mm-hmm.
chooses to go on that path,
Mm-hmm.
he's got it's his choice. He
Right.
will have to decide what he wants to do, but it is a path where he can help a lot of beings.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like it can be a little bit of a distraction from another path you might be on, and that's why a choice would have to be made?
It can be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Those paths should be considered as something fun also.
Perfect. Perfect. And so he doesn't need to feel any particular guilt or obligation. It's just when he feels like doing this, it's fine. And when he feels like not doing that, it's fine also, right?
Oh yes, Patrick knows
Mm-hmm.
the difference. He can feel very easily those of high and low vibration.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that sometimes he chooses to ignore those of low vibrations. He prefers giving a chance until he realizes that, yeah, he was right. Well,
I noticed this so much about Patrick is that he will get a gut feeling that's really right. And then he'll say, no, no, I'm going to give him a chance. And then it turns out he was right anyways.
yes, he is
Like
a
he can just understand these things right out of the gate then.
strong light reader.
Mm-hmm.
He's been used in the spiritual world in the highest course to find out some of the hardest truth, some of the hardest information to be revealed. He's been used as a light reader in some of these courses,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's wonderful.
but you will figure out what to do. You
Mm-hmm.
work fine together, and many people want to work with you.
Okay.
You're already on the path of success. Take your time, work
Mm-hmm.
well, work and be as noble as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick is really good for that. He
Okay.
understands the energies. He
Mm-hmm.
will not be trapped in something selfish or with
Mm-hmm.
the self-righteousness
Mm-hmm.
energies. He's not really not interested into those.
No, he's not. You're right. He gets kind of it's not his path for now anyways. I can tell that about him. And I'm
So
sure that's
you're
why
on a
people are
good
attracted
path.
to him.
You're on a good path. You can trust your instincts,
Mm-hmm.
but make sure that you do trust your instincts and
Right.
not sometimes the logic is not the path to follow. The
Mm-hmm.
instincts and the heart is a better path sometimes.
Okay.
Respect
Mm-hmm.
and be noble, and you won't
Mm-hmm.
have any problems.
Okay. And I've been feeling. I got a message in a session a while back from some blue beings, and they were saying the message was feel the field, where people that are having a high vibration kind of connect with each other and have a multiplying effect. And if they choose to engage with anything that has a lower vibration, it's just going to take them down. And so the idea is to just turn your back on it, right? Just leave it alone and don't mess with it either way. That's the
This
instinct
is
I'm having right now.
this is good, but you have to understand also that the brighter the light, the more the darkness will try to affect you.
Okay. Okay, that makes
The
sense. So
great,
we have to be aware of it.
the greater your success, the
Mm-hmm.
greater the challenges.
Mm. God, that's so disheartening. That's so sad, you know. I want to be around all these beautiful people, and I guess that's not always going to we're going to attract everything, right?
Or you're going to attract very beautiful people, but since the door is open to those beautiful people,
Mm-hmm.
other other types will try to
Mm-hmm.
come in also and
Mm-hmm.
benefit for what you got to offer.
Okay.
It is the nature of this world. This world is built
Mm-hmm.
for the darkness to make
Mm-hmm.
the light shine brighter.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That makes sense. Right. The contrast is what causes the growth, right?
Yes, but if you stay on the side of respect, if you
Mm-hmm.
are noble and you do not exaggerate, you should
Mm-hmm.
not attract that many challenges.
Okay.
The more you push it, the more the challenges will come with.
Right. 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 So if you're kind of doing ego-based things, then you open the door that much more and attract things that are not as desirable.
Well said.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. The other issue I had is I had a session a while back where I was talking to Raphael, Archangel Raphael, and I just want to make sure that that is who I was really talking to, or was that a figment of the imagination or something posing as it?
In that field, you will meet different types, different characters,
Mm-hmm.
different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Those will be reflected in your sessions,
Mm-hmm.
depending how grounded the density is. It
Mm-hmm.
will reflect by archetypes and the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge contained within the mind of that person.
Mm-hmm.
It can sometimes feel like it's texted, like it was pre-done, but you don't have to worry. It's all good
Mm-hmm.
because our archetype style um, doesn't matter if it's imagination, the
Mm-hmm.
messages come through anyway.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if you see it as Archangel Raphael, if the message is good. It doesn't matter if it's from the same light. It's all good anyway. You should not make it a
Right.
big thing.
Okay, that totally makes sense. I really appreciate that. So in a sense, what you're really saying is it doesn't matter as long as if the message felt good to you, then take the message, and who cares who they are? They say they are then.
You'll get it because it's from the field of consciousness of
Hmm.
those higher vibrations
Hmm.
anyway. It
Right, and
is
they're all
within the
collectives,
realm.
anyways.
The thing is that there are paths to ascension, many paths to finding to get to God,
Hmm.
source,
Hmm.
whichever you
Hmm.
prefer.
Hmm.
They're all good as long as they are within kindness of the
Hmm.
heart.
Hmm.
You are within the right path.
Okay. And the other thing I just want to verify is if I ever ask an entity or a being and I say, do you work with the light and do you serve Jesus? They can't lie, right? They have to say the right answer.
Mm, there are exceptions to everything. You
Right.
can't forget that. Depends.
Okay.
It is hard to understand depending because there are beings that can manifest within your dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
that are of extreme forces,
Mm-hmm.
and they can play with these things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that most have to answer you correctly,
Mm-hmm.
but there are exceptions.
Is there any way I can
Some,
always be sure that I am dealing with something that is from the light? Is there a test I can do or use or anything I can do?
your heart, you
Mm-hmm.
feel with your heart is the best
Mm-hmm.
way. The
Okay.
more experienced you are on this planet, the easier it gets. So the
Mm-hmm.
more experience you go through, the
Mm-hmm.
easier it gets. It's all built to perfection. It's built
Right.
to create evolution of your own.
Mm-hmm.
The less you are interested in evolution, the more you hide yourself within walls of a house, within
Mm-hmm.
the comfort of your own homes,
Mm-hmm.
the less you are on the path of evolution. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to create all kinds of events,
Right. Okay.
difficulties for you
Yeah.
to raise your vibration. There is
Yeah.
an ultimate goal that that is planned, that that you volunteered for,
Mm-hmm.
and humanity's been off that path, has been trying to get off that path.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, well, it is laziness,
Mm-hmm.
and we working hard to keep you on the right path to
Mm-hmm.
ascension, to
Mm-hmm.
get you back to where you should be.
Okay. So even if I were to run into something that was trying to mislead me, then that's great because now I know the difference between what's real. Like that's just one more thing that I've learned. I could put in my tool belt as I move forward. It's really just going to be follow my heart and learn as I go, and I don't need to worry about anything.
You understand really well. You
Thank
can already understand
you.
the
Mm-hmm.
challenges that have been put in front of you in the
Mm-hmm.
last weeks are now
Mm-hmm.
making more sense because you are making sense out of it.
Yeah.
This is the path to ultimate love, or how Patrick calls it, unconditional love. It's just being really smart and understanding everything, your part in it, and that
Right.
evolution, in that cycle. It is all a dance if you want to see it as a dance. It can be a war, a battle if you want to see it as a battle. You choose.
Right.
And with evolution, it gets easier and easier to dance.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I totally get this because I had some similar things happen to me. Let's say 3, 4 months ago, where some roommates had just kind of disappeared on me, and I was like really hurt by it at the time. But then this time, when some similar things happened, I wasn't as hurt, and it didn't last as long, and I was quicker to analyze it and say, "What's the lesson here?" And so,
See, your logic about that situation has come through. You are now seeing it with full respect and appreciating the lessons that you can take out of it instead of
Hmm.
seeing yourself as a victim.
Oh, yes, it's so beautiful. Gosh, thank you so much. I hope that a lot of people will see this and get that and understand what we're talking about because I know we're being kind of vague, but so just to run it down for everyone, when bad things happen to us or we think something bad happened to us, it's just a learning experience, right? It's just a chance for us to experience some polarity and to grow from it. And we don't have to think of it as something bad at all. And the less we
Yes,
do that, yeah, go ahead.
because it's not bad.
Yeah,
It's just experience. All there is
yeah,
love, light.
yeah,
The rest is all made up by what you choose to make it up.
yeah. Okay, that's really good. I really appreciate that so much. We've got our new friend in the fold that we just got today. She's helping us with our websites, and she had asked if we could ask about kind of what her role will be with us moving forward. Can you answer that? Do you know who I'm talking about?
As we see it, if things keep going on that path, if you all choose to go on this way,
Mm-hmm.
our role will just keep getting greater.
Mm-hmm.
All of you will just keep working more and more together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to you.
Right.
You make choices, but the energies are wonderful.
Okay.
Patrick saw really liked her, and
Yeah.
he likes to work with with you guys, and we
Okay.
see it as something really wonderful.
So we're a good team, just like we all think, and if that's what we want to be, then that's what we can be.
Your heart has spoken. Trust it.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. When Patrick and I decide to make our modality, could you give us any input as far as like a name for it, for a healing version of what we've done in the past and what we will do in the future?
It is not good for me to get involved in
Okay.
personal matters,
Yeah, I
but
get it.
I can advise. The advice I will give to you is take your time, take
Hmm.
something that resembles what you expect it to be,
Hmm.
and don't forget anyone that is involved. Show your appreciation,
Hmm.
and you're all three noble people with big
Hmm.
hearts. Make
Hmm.
sure to choose a name that reflects it also. Trust yourself, and it's just
Yeah.
going to work perfectly.
So we'll pick a name that will reflect the fact that we are all people with noble hearts, and that will be
This
the
is a
great way to go.
this is a good way to see it. This
Oh,
is
I love
just
it.
a suggestion.
Okay. Okay. I like that a lot. Now, I want to ask you about, Patrick has this a place up on the mountain that he likes to go to, and he's trying to get that retreat going up there and everything. He says some certain caves kind of are calling to him a little bit. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like, is there something in there that he needs to go find, or what's up with that?
Oh, that's for him to explore.
Okay.
He should go there physically.
Okay.
We're not gonna say any more about he knows what cave it is, and he should go explore physically with real careful.
Okay.
But
Maybe bring some lights or something, or some kind of, I mean, does he need rope? Or like, what would be a good preparation?
he's really experienced. He
Mm.
knows what to do. He
Okay,
can be
good.
really careful. He can be crazy sometimes, but he's gonna be real careful with these things. He doesn't mess with security.
Okay, okay. But there's something there for him to find, and he just needs to take care about how he does it, and he'll be fine.
Well, this would add up to the adventure. It is something one. It is something really interesting. A lot of people are interested with caves. There are many things to explore. It's
Hmm.
beautiful. It's an
Hmm.
environment of a different vibration,
Hmm.
and humans feel different in there, and it's a nice thing to explore. So you should go physically before going mentally or spiritually.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, then we'll do that. Then we were thinking of doing it the other way around. Obviously, you know that. But I appreciate you.
That's why I answered the question for you.
Yeah, you're good, good. Is there anything around me that I can actually get to that would be very interesting to a lot of people that I could find?
You should connect to your higher self
Okay,
and see
okay,
what the energies around there can connect to the higher self. It's much easier that way. But yes, there's probably something that you can physically be interested in and make it a
mhm,
nice adventure. But you should never see something uh, to get. If you try to get help from the spirit world,
mhm,
you have to do it for the right reason. If it's for
mm,
self righteousness, it will
right.
be hard to get. and the help may be corrupt.
Right. Right. Well, sometimes we want like validation. We want to show people that what we're doing isn't imaginary. Is that an okay reason to do things?
It's a noble reason
Okay.
for history. History is a very good and noble reason.
Okay.
We've been hoping that your true history would come out sooner.
You hoping that what would come out sooner?
We've been hoping that the true history of humanity would
Oh,
come out sooner. It's all
yeah.
distorted at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, good. I'm so glad you say that because like that's really what I'm in it for. I want people to see what's wrong about history or what could be seen differently than the way we see it, and hoping that would kind of like awake a lot of people up and kind of set them down a certain path of discovery, right? And so that's
Yes.
good, and that's a good noble cause.
If it's a noble cause, a noble way,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
history, like correcting history, of
Yeah.
course, you will get help from higher guides. They will come in and help you with
Okay.
pleasure. They will see it
Okay.
as something fun.
Oh, good. Wow. Oh, that's so exciting because I like that's great.
You may get more help than you even hope for.
Okay. And as far as me connecting to my higher self, which is something that I'm not nearly as far down that road as Patrick is yet, I don't think. Is there any advice you can give me on that end, on like best practices or anything I should add or cut out?
Yes, calm down. You know yourself. You know that you're highly um, active.
Hmm.
Your field, let's say we'll call it electric field for
Hmm.
just for the way to express it.
Hmm.
Well, yours is really excited. It's
Hmm.
in a good way, but
Right.
for hypnosis, it has to be completely slowed down to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
neutral.
Okay.
This would be a real good advice, and also go in without polarization. Just
Uh,
go in hoping to learn. Open your mind, open your heart, and
uh,
just go in to learn. Don't go with prejudice.
yes. Like preconceived notions. Is that what you mean by prejudice?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Really appreciate it. That's really good. I feel silly for sometimes for asking things that maybe we already know or we should know, and I still appreciate you for bearing with me with all that.
It is it is a lot of fun to communicate this way.
Oh, good.
We
I know Patrick loves it too.
sometimes communication gets a little hard on Patrick like today.
Hmm.
We won't be able to do that much longer. It's draining.
Hmm.
It takes a lot of his energy to keep connection
Okay.
going.
Yeah, I feel like we're almost done for today too. Honestly, I'm almost through all the questions. Um, is there one of the questions he had was, is how is he doing on his diet? Is there any improvements that can be made there?
Yes, he's almost completely stopped the meat, and
Hmm.
he's doing it for very good reasons.
Hmm.
He's trying something that is, let's say, in his soul, with his soul contract.
Hmm.
He's trying to get to higher densities within body. He wants to see if it can be done,
Hmm.
if he can go through event keeping body. That's
Hmm.
why he wants to bring it to the highest density possible
Hmm.
for an individual.
Hmm.
He's working real hard. He should go on keeping away from dense foods
Hmm.
and altering drugs and
Hmm.
alcohol and
Hmm.
negative vibrational fields, like
Okay.
people that bring him
Mm-hmm.
down. But
Mm-hmm.
he's on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing the right things,
Okay.
and he should not go any faster. It's gonna get too hard on him.
Mm.
It
Okay.
may do a reversal effect if
Mm-hmm.
he stresses his body too much.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So just take time off and just don't push it. Almost the same advice everybody always gives me: slow down, right?
Yeah, Patrick is hyperactive. He's a bit like you are,
Yeah.
in in a different way. He's not as nervous, but he's
Yeah.
always on the go, always working, always helping. And there's a limit to what a human body can do.
Yeah.
It's almost like he thinks he's in spirit world all the time, but it's not like that. The human world, you
Right.
guys have to slow down sometimes
Yeah.
and rest that body in order to
Yeah.
recharge.
Yeah. So listen to the body is the big message there. Don't just do what your brain wants. You just want to plow ahead, and you need to just listen every now
We're having yeah.
and then. Just relax, let it go.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm in that city again.
Okay. Yeah, they were saying they're about done with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and just bring you out. We didn't get to ask all the questions yet, but that's fine. We can ask them another time. I would like to thank the higher self and everybody that came through today and ask you, wake up, buddy. All right. Well, we had it in our mind just perfect how it was going to go today because it went exactly like we thought it would, which was that you weren't really in a good place to do any real traveling. You were going to be able to answer a few questions, and honestly, like the amount of questions that we had was almost exactly what you were able to answer.
Perfect.
Yeah, it really was. It just went. It's like I
I
always say,
was
you will say something off the top of your head, and then the next thing you know, something proves it to be true. Your gut is just the golden gut, buddy.
cool.
Yeah, so I think sometimes like when you're not necessarily in a zone where you're communicating with spirit and you're not trying to do that, that you still are, and you just don't realize it. You know what I mean? Because it's your gut,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you need to believe your gut.
I got a good connection to my higher self, but I know that sometimes it's not that I don't want to listen, but I just don't listen.
No,
You
and you know
understand?
what we see this happen so much with some of the it's all the areas that we've been having trouble with the last couple of days were all things that you knew a week, 2 weeks ahead of time, and you're like, well, I don't want to judge anybody, and I'll give them a chance. And then guess what they did with the chance? Pretty much like you might not have been able to know exactly what was going to happen, but you were like, the vibration here isn't the one I normally like to hang with, and so I felt like
Yeah,
maybe sometimes you kind of discount that a little bit because you're such a good guy that you want to, well, let's just wait and see what happens, and then it happens. All right, so just
yeah,
remember that about yourself is if you're starting, I need you to be my eyes. Okay, I'm not that guy yet, right? I'm that's not where I'm at. And so we were told
and
in the
that
session, I'll send you the
as
recording, but
a
one of the things we were told is bad guys are going to come. Okay,
oh yeah,
yeah, they're like no matter how they're like Patrick thinks he's just always in the spirit world. No, he's in the freaking body on Earth. So when he's tired, right? And when he's hungry, right? And then you just keep plowing through, protected in the spirit world. Take a freaking nap, when you need one. The other thing is that as we're doing this, like the more we shine our light so that everything can see it, that means everything's going to see it. And so the things are going to come to us that if we have the door open, we're gonna get some beautiful souls that are going to want to work with us. Some beautiful, beautiful people are going to come and say, wow, I really like those guys. I resonate. And they're going to work with us beautifully. Okay. But by the same
Perfect.
token, that doesn't mean everybody, and that's all we're ever going to see. Okay.
Yeah, because it's still a business, eh? You know, it's open to
Mhm.
everybody. So we got to be
Yes.
careful.
Yes. And also the other thing is this, people that need healing, we want to heal them, right? And maybe we can only heal them halfway, or you know what I mean? Maybe we can't heal them and we're going to say, I'm sorry, you're just not my client. Okay. But you don't have to come right out and say this stuff, but if you can send me a text or an email that says, I had kind of a weird vibe today. We were having this meeting. Just look at it, Kel, and then I'll examine it and see what I see. Okay. But I need your golden gut. I don't need you to sit back and wait for the bad shit to go down. All right.
Just like I told you before, there are people that are really good people and all, but they may not be good to to go under hypnosis on a traveling thing because in their minds they've already made up their minds on what it is they're going to see,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not the way to approach to the
Yeah.
kind of work we're doing. We
Yeah.
need a like to be like a blank sheet of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and we need I me and myself, I almost believe that everything I know is bullshit. When I go in, I see
Mm-hmm.
it like that, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
going in there to rectify something,
Yeah.
to make sure that what I know is true. So I'm completely open to what I am
Mm-hmm.
connecting with, and not to what I have in my mind. So
Well,
some
so.
people will be okay. They'll be okay for that,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they're not going to be okay for something else.
Mm-hmm.
And the same
Mm-hmm.
thing with some of the people we already know.
Mm-hmm.
Some are okay to do some traveling, and some are not.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to make some people feel like they're not worthy or anything like that. It's just that we
Uh,
all each have our roles, and now we're working on development. We're
mm-hmm.
trying to put a technique together,
Mm-hmm.
and no, we just don't want to start
Go
arguing
backwards.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and as we've seen, there's no time to argue and waste any more days on that type of energy.
Not with as fast as me and you like to move. Um, but anyways, the
Exactly.
other thing though that you're bringing to mind is there's some people that are good people that or want to be good people. Well, even right, they're on the path, and maybe they're not ready for everything. We need to figure out how to bring them along, though. Right? That's the service that we can provide those people is to say, hey, here's a meditation tape that me and Patrick made. Here's a recommended diet, and come back and talk to us in a few weeks or a month, and we'll see how you're
Well,
doing. You know what I mean?
you know that quantum club,
Mm-hmm.
that thing can be real good finding out people.
Mm-hmm.
Once we spot someone that can be good to help us with development and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, or whatever in
Mm-hmm.
relation to the business, we can maybe invite them on board to try a
Yep.
few things, and not make any offers, not speak of
Yeah.
money or anything.
Yeah.
And once we see if it works out or how they are, once we're sure that it's good, then we
Mm-hmm.
make it clear that the business is set up that way. You're invited to participate. Of course, you're going to be making so much and so much, or
Mm-hmm.
whichever things we decide. But we make it clear to them, this is what we need you for, and it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like a job. That way, there's no arguing, no argument, and these
Mm-hmm.
people don't say, "Oh, well, he told me this before, and it's not like that." And
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
It's all gonna be real clear from the
Yeah.
start.
And then I'll
The
also
part
always
where
try to, sorry, I just want to get this out real quick, but I'll also try to always be releasing things in that club that will turn the people that are there, get them going down the right path. And then we
Mhm,
can just
mhm.
pluck them out as they become ripe, I guess we would say.
Yeah. Not only that, but those guided meditations that we're gonna make, we
Mm-hmm.
could probably have them on that club also, offer
Yep.
them for free to those people and all
Yes.
that, you know.
Yeah. And they could be the
So
ones that test them for us and tell us how they work, and we can tweak them that way. Try to make it so that it works for a broader spectrum of people. Because obviously what we would make would probably be good for us. We need it to be good for everybody or almost everybody, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I
And
like that.
once we have a trip set up, like a path, once we can offer a product,
Hmm.
we can always offer it. Like if someone left, let's say a couple wants to come, well, they
Hmm.
can both go on the same trip because it's the same induction. We can have two beds. Let's say
Hmm. Hmm.
we can do it remotely. Well,
Hmm.
I don't know how we're gonna do it that way. We're gonna wait and see. But if it's remotely, we can have two, three, four people doing it at the same time if we want
Hmm.
to. Also, there's a lot of things we have to tweak and think about.
Because this is the trick. It's one thing for people that want to work with us and go to like higher dimensional realms and to some of these planets and to meet some of the Babaquas of the world, but you have to have a certain level of vibration to meet us on that level. But for the quantum travel agency, it should be able to work on just about anybody. Like
On anyone,
80,
yeah,
right? Like 80, 90% of the people, maybe they're on some kind of a medication that's screwing them up. But other than that, it needs to be able to work on anyone because otherwise, how am I ever going to do groups?
exactly. You got it. The you understand where I'm going with
Yeah,
that.
so we need to learn it to that extent to where it will work on anybody. I feel like what we're talking about right now, the idea of making a guided meditation that people can use as a prep work for like 2 weeks before their session, and now they're going to be prepped, lined properly, but it will work. Don't
Okay,
you think that's the way to go?
let's say a client books a trip or something,
Mm-hmm.
then we give them a special meditation
Mm-hmm.
created for the agency,
Yeah.
and that will prepare them to the
Yeah.
Merkaba and everything.
Yep.
And
Okay.
once they're already gone to that evolution, then it gets much easier to bring
Cool.
them under
Okay.
and all.
And maybe we'll give them some other instructions too. Try to eat lighter as you get closer to the session. I didn't get asked about how long the alcohol lasts, but the higher self, it knows the questions we're going to ask ahead of time. It's just kind of like, well, he can stay away from the alcohol and any drugs that lower your vibration and any people that lower your vibration. Just kind of like he's thinking. Unfortunately, I didn't
Yeah,
get to say how long does it last.
we can always ask another time. That's no problem.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah. And I knew that
Because
they
it is
kind
a
of told us
question
right out of the gate.
it is a question that I'd really like to know for the alcohol and marijuana or
Yeah,
hashish, because
yeah,
there's a lot of people around me that uses it on a, let's say, a steady. They don't abuse it, but they use it quite
yeah,
often, and
yeah. Like every day.
they wonder themselves. They've been asking me the question,
Yeah,
and me too. I'd like to know because I do sometimes drink a little
yeah,
bit of
yeah.
alcohol, but the way I do it with lemon and I buy pure alcohol, and it's not drinks that I buy already prepared. So I'd like to ask the questions.
Well,
Does
because
it
it's
help?
alkaline.
Yeah, does it
Yeah.
make any difference? Or so we can maybe set up some type of session at one point where we can ask a lot of questions, detailed questions
Yeah.
concerning these
Yes,
things, these subjects.
because you've also got the ayahuasca and mushrooms, which I've
Yeah,
heard of people
yeah,
getting enlightened off of the mushrooms before.
yeah.
Never happened to me,
We
but I
could
have
make
had some friends that had some really like interesting spiritual experiences on them. You got
yeah.
DMT also
We
as
could
one.
do we could do a whole session asking questions about all these things
All the
and
plant medicines, and we'll throw alcohol in
information.
with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
another thing is? Because if, like, for instance, if I was to grow tobacco in my backyard and like make it, I
make
didn't put
your own
pesticides,
cigarettes.
and it would actually be good for me. I think, like, it would not be bad at all. And it wouldn't be addictive at all either. It's just the
No,
100 chemicals that they put in there.
exactly. But the thing is, it will become like a cigar. It won't be addictive like a cigarette. It won't give you the effect of a cigarette. Also, it's because do you know all the shit they put in there?
It's like
they
100
even
chemicals.
they even use ammonia. They treat the tobacco with ammonia because it accelerates the feeling you
The
get from
burning.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So the ammonia is just there to accelerate the buzz you get from the cigarette, so that the smoke is still inside, and you get the buzz before
Yeah.
it's even
Yeah.
exhaled.
Like, I'm
The
having this theory
that.
that there's ways that you can, it's not automatically inhaling smoke is automatically bad for you. I think there's ways you can do it that are A, maybe not bad, and B, maybe even beneficial if we just dug into it a
Well,
little.
the natives saw that plant as a medical plant, and now
Exactly.
everybody sees it as a demon, and it's not
Yeah.
true. It's just that it's been demonized and it's been used in a distorted way. They corrupt it, and then they put it in packages, and
Right,
they
like
give it
everything
to us
good,
poison.
yeah.
Yeah, like the rest, like everything good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'll keep this in my back pocket, and what'll happen is the next time that we have a day where we want to do something, there's not a lot of time, you're not
Not
feeling
going
super
to the
spunky, then we'll do one on plant medicines and alcohol.
yeah, yeah, that's
And
good.
just
That'll
we're
be a
just going to
good
ask
one,
questions.
and people will be interested into that a lot. That's it
Everybody wants to
because
know
it
about it.
because it regards everybody. Everybody
Yeah,
uses a drug, even medication. We can ask a lot
yeah.
of questions on medication, what it does exactly to the body, and all that.
Well, I
Those
know
are
that you can
those.
look at somebody's eyeballs and you can see the sulfur deposits in certain organs, right? So we know all the medications are sulfur based, which is acidic, which is the opposite of alkaline.
Buddy, it's affecting the whales in the Saint Laurent River here. There's
Mhm.
beluga whales, and they're beaching, and some of them are sterile because of the
Estrogen.
urine that goes, the estrogen that goes in the water.
Mhm.
The water plants are not filtering
Oh,
those
it's from
medication
birth control. Birth control.
from birth, yeah, from the birth
Yep.
control pills. It's
Yep.
affecting the fish they eat, and then it's
Mhm.
affecting the whale, so it's everywhere in the food chain.
Mhm. Well,
So when it
marijuana has a lot of estrogen in it too. Just so you know, it turns that smoke turns into estrogen in your body. That's why guys get the man boobs if they smoke a lot of weed.
oh yeah, I
Fucking true
didn't know
story,
that.
dude.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's a
didn't
true
know
story.
that.
There's a lot of estrogen, but that's why it makes us so mellow, right? Because like if
Yeah,
you
but
smoke weed, you don't get in fights. It's because there's a bunch of estrogen in it.
what fascinates me about marijuana is, why does the human brain, why is it filled with captors, marijuana captors? It's like the human brain was built to
Mm, yeah,
be associated with marijuana. Why is it that way? What's that relation? That's another real good question.
yeah, yeah. So what it is that those receptors are there for a different reason. It just so happens that they grab marijuana too. Right. So those
Yeah,
receptors are
the
what allows you to
dopamine.
go on the trip you just went on.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But so you can do it the way you did it, or you can do it with the plant medicine. That's what I'm
Hmm.
guessing. But we'll ask that question for sure when we
Hmm.
do that day.
Oh yeah, I want to know, because I thought that marijuana would distort um, the reality when you go under, or through meditation and stuff like that. Because I heard that often.
I would think it
So
does, yeah.
I'm just wondering. So they're very good field of questions, a very good subject.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do one on plant medicine for sure. One whole
Yeah,
session.
cool,
But we'll save
cool.
that for, like I say, just like a time like today where we're kind of doing it on the fly. We just wanted to, oh, it's 3:33 by the way, my time. Okay, but anyways, yeah, one where we're just kind of doing it on the fly. We want to keep it short. We don't want to send you somewhere, and we're just going to do just a little question and answer session. And that's what we'll do for the next one of those.
I'd
Now,
like to have I'd like to have a copy of that session,
yeah, I'm going to
because
send it to you.
yeah, because I don't remember much. I was a little
Yeah.
sleepy, so
You know
I
what they
don't
said
remember.
about your cave? They said he needs to be careful. He's a pro. He knows what he's doing, but he does need to be careful in that cave because he can get a little reckless once in a while. But 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 they said you need to go there physically first, and then go back spiritually to make sense of what you saw there. And I was like, well, we were going to do it the exact opposite way. And they go, we know. That's why we that's why we answered the question.
Uh, a guy can try, eh? You know, you got nothing to lose by trying.
Yeah, like they're just sitting in on our meeting waiting for the session to start. And they're like, oh, we're going to shut that down.
That's cool. It's a lot of fun doing that kind of work. I love it. It's not.
And, you know, your higher self said it really enjoys it too. It says, you know, this is so fun to communicate this way. And I was like, well, I know Patrick loves it too. I love it. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because it takes us away from the healing, and the healing can get at sometimes a bit not depressing, but you know, it's healing people that are sick, and you have to hear their story, and sometimes it's their negative stories. There's a
Yes, yes.
lot of healing to do, and it's a type of work that gets heavy after a little bit. So to get off the healing and to be able to do this type of thing, it keeps that field very interesting and fun.
My, my,
So wow.
my roommate has pointed out that he can see a difference in me when I do a quantum healing versus when I do quantum travel. Because when I come
Oh
out of quantum
yeah.
travel, I'm always feeling very fresh and light. There's not any real stress on me at all. But with the
Hmm.
quantum healing, there's always an energy exchange of some sort. And
Hmm.
sometimes it'll get me real high, and then I'll crash. Sometimes I just come out, I'm just like boggle, and I go, like, never
Uh,
could I
uh,
drive. I couldn't just get in my car and drive after a session. But this one I could. I could go drive somewhere right now. It wouldn't be a problem.
I did a whole meditation session where I connected with Babakwa,
Mhm.
and I all I did for 2 hours is ask questions, um, all in relation to QHHT healing and
Mhm.
what the practitioners are not doing right. Why is it not
Mhm.
working for everybody and all that? And I
Oh
got so
yeah.
many good answers out of that helped me after it.
Uh-huh.
It was a really good session. I forgot a bit of it, but I retained a lot also, and I don't have much time today to keep going on,
Send me an
but
email or something, maybe.
we will talk about it.
Okay.
No, we'd be better off having a conversation about
Yeah.
that because there's a lot of tricks that